never talked about. Pero mírame ahora, shining anyway. God help me when I felt alone, and now my heart beats louder, brighter, ready to claim everything He promised. No more hiding who I am, no more dimming this glow. He turned my scars into stories, and my stories into fuego. I'm crowned by faith, look at me shining bright. He healed my corazón and helped me win this long fight. I rise con faith, with joy in my veins, dancing out the darkness like it never had my name. Crowned by faith, that's who I am. Crowned by faith, this is my comeback dance.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Behind the Lyrics. We are on another episode live. We are streaming live, and then these shows get placed on Prospera TV network, which means they are on Roku and in 17 countries. So this is an exciting time. I am getting myself all situated, but if you are there, say hello. If you have your Crowned by Faith book, let us know. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We do this every week. I will tell you a little bit. Crowned by Faith is a book that I wrote. It was a project that kind of started as a joke. And here we are, because when you listen to what God says and you have no idea how you're going to do it, you might be like scared out of your mind. I could have had every reason in the world to not do this project, but yet I still did. Yet I still went all in, and it's amazing at what has transpired from it. Hello, Christina. So Crowned by Faith is a book that I wrote, and it's really about taking experiences and showing you how to look at them through the lens of God's love. And yes, since this is something that I wrote, there are many experiences throughout my life that are used as examples, but there's sections in there that allow you to use some questions and some prompts for yourself, for your life, through your experiences. So this isn't a book that just like dumps my life story out. It's actually using my experiences to say, hey, I'm real. Life has hurt. Life has hit. I have made mistakes. I have been knocked down. I have wanted to not wake up ever again. I have had a broken heart. I have been cheated on, like all kinds of things. But yet, here we are, and it's all beautiful because God has allowed me to see what it looked like as I was going through it, but from His eyes. And when you can do that with your own experiences, man, it will change your life. So we got Mari on here. Hello, Mari. And we got my sissy, Gina Rodriguez Lopez, tuning in from Texas as well. So let's get started. Tonight is going to be a little bit different. Okay. If you want to get your book so that you can follow along, you can do that at crownedbyfaithcollective.com. The website is going to be undergoing a little facelift, but you can still find it and get it from there. But tonight's chapter, we have kind of gone in sequence. We jumped ahead like week 2 or 3. We jumped ahead to chapter 11, to the chapter called Christmas Eve, because that was when my husband passed away at the time, and I wanted to cover that chapter that night before Christmas Eve. It just felt appropriate. But otherwise, we have gone through the sequence. But tonight is going to be just a little bit different, because there's like 2 components here. There's 2 components to this chapter, yet there's more one component to the song. Okay, so the chapter is called Loss Upon Loss. It's chapter 9 in the Crowned by Faith book, but the song is called Move the Boulder. And I like to say Move the Boulder, Peanut, because that was my nickname by my bonus dad. My bonus dad came into my life I was probably around 5, I think, when I met him. But he didn't actually become my bonus dad until I was 11. When I was 11, him and my mom got married. And let me tell you, I did not make it easy. I'm sure there were times that he wanted to wring my neck. And let me just tell you, him and I, we could just go head to head. He challenged me, but I challenged him. He said it like it was, and so did I. And so it was kind of one of those love. I don't want to say love hate, but at times, man, we didn't worry about hurting each other's feelings. Put it that way. We didn't worry about hurting each other's feelings because we knew we could take it. And sometimes the truth hurts. And sometimes you need to hear the truth and you need to feel that hurt in order to kind of open up your mind so that you can see things differently. And so tonight, that's what we're honoring. So I'm going to start this just a little bit different because I want to go into opening up the chapter. So if you're new to this show, I read like little paragraphs here and there. I don't read the whole thing to you. I don't even like to be read to. So thanks for showing up for this. But then the song is going to be clipped out just a little different. And the style behind this song was a style that I wanted to reflect my bonus dad. He loved, older songs. He loved Southern rock. He loved, just fun bar sing-alongs. And the way that this song came together, even though the lyrics are very intense and very intertwined with a lot of emotion, it's more of one of those that you could like listen at a bar and everybody's raising their glass of beer and like singing it. And that's the vibe that he wanted to come through when I was creating this whole chapter, this song. So it'll be very different, but that's the feel we're going. I want you to think, Southern rock, folk country, but cheering in a bar and everybody raising their glass and singing the anthem along. Okay. And maybe let's just start with that. Let's just start with the chorus because that's going to set the tone. And now that you know that my nickname was Peanut, because I looked like a little tiny peanut when he met me, he called me Peanut his whole life. So, and Tom Petty, absolutely. Gina says Tom Petty. Those were our Florida trips. So I'm going to play the chorus. And that way you get comfortable with the chorus. We might have to play the chorus a couple times throughout this episode, but just to give you the vibe of where I'm coming from. But then we're going to get into the complexity of the message of why he actually told me, move the boulder, Peanut. Okay, so let's have some fun with this first. Here we go.
Move the boulder, Peanut, he would say. Let the weight of your past just drift away. You're stronger than the pain that cuts through the night. You lift your head up high, you'll find your light.
Oh, let me get myself on here. So now you can see where it's like, just in that everybody can sing along and just feel the emotion, but have some fun with it. And that's exactly what he wanted. So let me do something. I want to make sure that I'm like synced up here real quick. So as we get into the beginning of this, the reason that this is called Loss Upon Loss is 2 fathers gone in 2 years. Grief heavy, but God's whisper louder. And I keep hearing, move the boulder. So the reason behind that is we talked about Echoes of Us, the song a few weeks ago, where me and my sister were in frantic move, flying out to Arizona, and we lost our dad, our biological dad, father, to cancer. Well, within 2 years, we lose our bonus dad too. And I always said 2 dads in 2 years was too much, on top of just all the other complexities and emotional roller coasters that my life was on at that time. So, speaking of where we were last week when we were talking about a text from hell, if you're new to me, if you're new to my story, basically I ended up in a very narcissistic, emotionally abusive, toxic, negative relationship. And that just pretty much boils it in a nutshell. And it was hell. Okay. It was hell. It was like um, volunteering to step into a cage and just like have it locked on you. I mean, it was just horrible. So that's where we're at. I'm still in that relationship. We weren't married yet. Yes, we did get married. And I know I've trust me, I've asked myself that question many a times, like, why would you do that? But I did. So that'll be another chapter. But I'm still in that space. I had lost my dad. That's where this guy came into my life. I trusted him. I knew him for a long time. And I share this with you guys, not to just like, blah, throw up my story out there, but because you know what? If you've made choices, it's time to let go of the shame. If you have stepped into, those situations where you wish you could just like beat your head against a wall and think like, what was I thinking? Or if I could just rewind the clock. And that's why we're talking about this. Forgive yourself, let go of the shame, release the guilt. You cannot turn the clock backwards. So you have to take hold of where you are right now and understand that it's okay and that you are not alone. So I share this for those reasons, because someone out there, whether you're watching the replay, whether you're in another country, someone out there is in a situation like this and maybe doesn't think there's ever going to be light at that end of that tunnel, or anybody would ever understand. So this isn't really for me to just come say like, hey, why don't we sit down for story time so I can talk all about myself. I'm using myself because God has chosen me as that vessel to just cut through the BS, cut through the fear, cut through the lies, cut through the shame, stop hiding, and like actually talk about this stuff. Okay. So that's what I want to make clear. So at the time, I'm still in that relationship. So there comes a day I think I'm ready to leave. The red flags aren't whispers anymore. They're sirens. And I'm exhausted, emotionally raw from the jealousy, the control, the cycles that never end. I managed to move into a tiny duplex with my boys. It feels like breath. The rooms are filled with mismatched, donated pieces. A couch with the squeaky spring, a side table with a ring where someone forgot to use a coaster. None of it matches. All of it feels like ours. All of the furniture that was in that duplex was given to me by students in my fitness studio at that time. From bookshelves to old hammock type chairs, like nothing matched. And yet it felt like home. Finally, for me and my boys, we just moved in there. Then a grand gesture shows up. And this is important to share because it'll show you why sometimes you're afraid to say something because it's totally twisted. All right. There's a grand gesture shows up while I'm gone. We open the door to plastic wrap shine and the chemical smell of brand new. You know, when something's like brand new, whether it be a car, leather, something, but it was a living room set, a kitchen table dining set, bunk beds for the boys, and all of the receipts still taped to the boxes. So money, 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 all this brand new stuff. What the heck? I'm walking into my duplex that, of course, my boyfriend had a key to. My sons stand there. We're just getting home, picked up from school. My sons stand there, surprised, unsure, and I coach their faces into like thank you smiles because I'm afraid if they don't, he'll go off. When you are with someone that's a narcissist and they do nice things, it's not really about the nice thing for you. It's about how it makes them feel. Okay? That's where the gifts come in. It makes them feel better. It's not really about how it's for you. Okay? So, when I got home, then when I get home, everything is already set up. All of my old furniture was gone, replaced without a word. Now, imagine this, okay? Replaced without a word. Even though most people would think it was sweet or generous, I felt like a guest in what once felt like home. The space didn't look like us anymore. It looked like him. So, this is a part where, now we had to tiptoe around everything, not to spill anything, not to lean on the couch or sit on the arm. My sons were little, not to sit wrong, not to leave fingerprints on this table. It was like walking on eggshells in a house that used to feel safe. The moment all that furniture came through the door, our place stopped feeling like ours. It now belonged to him, and I was just borrowing space. Now, I have to share this because, and I'm not going to pull this from the book, but it's probably in here. I have to share this because I've told you many times how much I was called a cold-hearted bitch. Okay? And it's not that you're not appreciative. It's not that you're not thankful. But I didn't ask for that. And if it was going to go in my living space, in our home, how special it would have felt to actually be invited to go pick things out together. Right? And some people look at it like, you ungrateful, diva. I would love for somebody to just do that for me. But would you really? Would you really want your home, your safe space, your place of peace, the one that you worked hard to piece together however that you could, to be wiped out without your knowing, and everything moved in that you didn't even pick out? It didn't even look like you. It wasn't even your style. Reflected nothing about you. It became very uncomfortable, and it wasn't about a kind gesture. It became another hook over my head. It became another way to have control. So when things like that happen, there are times that I'm able to see when people are in situations that aren't healthy. And not for the sake that they're not pampered and they're not spoiled, but you can get a sense when it's not genuine and when it's not even a reflection of that person and their spirit and their soul and their style and their colors and their energy. Like, and it's just kind of funny because sometimes I can see things where people are like, so impressed and they want you to, look at all this stuff that they have, but you can read it. And so it's like, that's cool. All that stuff is great. I'm glad that you have it. But it doesn't impress me, but it's also, I can tell that it's not you. So that happened. Okay. So that's part of that. We're going to listen to an opener part. So I was in that little town is a little town outside of Fort Wayne, our little duplex. And so that's kind of where this starts, but it's going to lead up to me explaining how my bonus dad, how he passed away, but the message that he left for me shortly before he went. And it's one that I hear every single day in my head, still every single day. So here we go.
In a little town where the shadows grow long, I learned of love mingled with one last song. Two fathers lost in the blink of an eye. One carried my heart, the other waved goodbye.
Okay, so we're going to get into talking about losing our second dad. But at first, I want to share that when I walked into my living space, the space I was paying rent for, like, let's make that clear too. It was my space that I got for me and my sons. I had to work my booty off to pay for it. I didn't care that it had mismatched furniture. I was proud of what I was building. So when all of that was just taken away and I still had to pay to live there, but I felt like a guest, you're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable in what should feel like a safe space. So at first, I tried to convince myself it was love, that he just wanted to make things nice for us, that maybe this was his way of saying sorry without words, because I'm sure we had another fight, and this was probably one of the times that he just bought stuff. But deep down, something in me knew better. Love doesn't erase you to make room for itself. And I'm going to just pause on that second for a minute, because like I said, God flowed through me so much in the writing of this book that some of these sentences that came out, I'm like, wow, I'm crying. My mouth is dropping because I'm like, I don't feel like I came up with that, but it just flowed out. And I love that sentence. Love doesn't erase you to make room for itself. Love doesn't demand silence to keep the peace. So every time I sat on that new couch or caught that sharp scent of, new cleaner in the air, I felt smaller. The home I built with warmth and laughter had turned into a showroom for control. It looked perfect from the outside, but I was learning that perfection can be the prettiest kind of prison. So that's why at this point in my life, very few things impress me, especially materialistic things. If you got things that look awesome, kudos for you, and I'm proud of you. But to me, I know things can look great on the outside, and that level of perfection that people strive for basically becomes a prison, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in yourself physically, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your business. The more you strive for this level of perfection that will never be achieved, the longer you're keeping yourself locked up in this type of a prison. You're not free to just be. Okay, so I wanted to make that clear. So all of this stuff pops up in the duplex now. And one day, my bonus dad, I call him my stepdad, but he was our bonus dad. He comes over. He just by himself, and I'm by myself. My sons were old enough to be in school all day, and even though I taught fitness, I taught my class in the morning, and then I wouldn't teach again until the evening. So really, I was home throughout the days as well. And so one afternoon, my bonus dad comes over, and he just wants to visit. And like I said, he married my mom when I was 11, and he absolutely loved me and my sister as his own. He never had children of his own. We were his girls. And you know, we do grow very close. So this one day, he's there and he sits across from me at my kitchen table. And he's got a Diet Coke, you know, sweating in the plastic cup. He always had Diet Coke. He did smoke, you know, so there's ashtray nearby, couple cigarettes, curling, smoke, all of that. But as we're sitting there, he stares and he says these words across the table, and I will never forget them. And I say them to myself every single day, still, for different reasons. This is a lesson. This is a blessing. This is a gift that he gave me. But he said, "Move the boulder, Peanut." And for a long time, I sat there like, what? And he said, "Move the boulder. Move the boulder, Peanut." And he means let this guy go. Get rid of this guy. Pick him up and move him. This boulder, this big, heavy rock that is blocking my pace, that is blocking my forward path, that is blocking like all these blessings, all this energy. He's like, just freaking move it. Move this boulder that's blocking your happiness, that's blocking your joy, that's blocking your light from shining bright. Like, just move the boulder, Peanut. That's all he said. And so he sees, or he means let him go. He sees what I won't or can't. This relationship is dead weight, crushing my spirit. He sees my spark dim, my light fading, my fight slipping under a man who is no good for me. He wants me to move it, move him out of the way. So he is just telling me straight up, like I said, him and I could go head to head. We could say things. We weren't afraid to hurt each other's feelings because we knew it. That's just how we rolled with each other. But here's the thing. He's ready to help me. That's the thing. He would always be there for us if we need it. Okay, that now I'm going to get choked up. But he was actually ready to help me. He was ready to do the things that he knew he had to step in as a bonus dad. He knew I was on my own. He knew I had 2 sons. He was ready to step in, but he needed me to be ready. Because people can't do it for you. You have to be ready. And that's a hard place to get to when you're stuck in this toxic merry-go-round. So he's ready to help me. He's ready to walk me through the hard. For the first time in a long time, I feel hope. Maybe I'm not as stuck as I think. Maybe I can do it. And then he gets sick. So when we talk about the roller coaster of emotion that sometimes can happen in life, and I've explained at times feeling like Rocky in the ring that just seems to get beat down after beat down, and you fight to get up, and then you get beat down and you get beat down. Sometimes you're just tired. You know, sometimes you're just tired and you got nothing left. And for a long time, I was angry with God because I thought, WTF, God? Like what the hell? And there's an amazing gift that he gave me that allowed me to see all these moments of pain as strength. And we'll talk about that another time. But before we go on, let me just play another clip just so we can stay in our lyric songs and sing our anthem here. So here we go.
In the years that followed, I carried his words through the valleys of sorrow, alongside the birds. Each tear that I shed, a testament to grace, the love he bestowed eternally in place.
Okay, so we got to just kind of keep his little country flair vibe going. But so here's the gist of what happens. I'm ready. I'm like, I can do this. He's like, move the boulder, Peanut. Every day I'm like, move the boulder, move the boulder, Move the boulder. You can do this. Just pick it up and freaking go. Strengthen yourself, build your own endurance, like move the boulder. And I can see it now. And I'm like, I got this. And I know that I'm not going to do it by myself. And I know that him and my mom are going to both be there. But he had to come and tell me. He didn't filter it through my mom. He didn't bring my mom. It was just a him and I conversation, and he needed to just tell me. And I felt that he was going to be there. He was not going to let me fall. He was going to help me, and he was going to hold me and my sons up. And I just knew it. It was time. I was ready. Then he gets sick. So bottom line, he ends up needing to have a surgery. And the surgery like compounded, and they ended up finding something that took priority over what he was initially going in for. And it was serious. So my sister flies in for the surgery. And somewhere in my spirit, I knew you're not going to make it. And I didn't want to think that, because I know like your thoughts carry strength and power. But I had that inner knowing, just like I did with my dad. Like I just knew. And so as we're there getting ready for him to go into surgery, he's giving the nurses a hard time, and he's making them double check this and, check this again. And all he kept saying was optimal conditions. And we're in surgery, or he's in surgery for hours and hours. And the only update we got at one point was that it was very intense. And shortly after, they come out, they ask us to go to that little room. I already knew. I knew it. And they tell us he didn't make it. He passed on the operating table. And so my mom exhales a sharp, broken breath that seems to take everything with it. No sound at first, just the air leaving her lungs, then tears. My sister cries immediately, a raw sound that fills the room. My uncle, his brother, storms out. My aunt follows. That was his wife. I mean, he just pivoted, stormed out of that room. My oldest son, who was with us, sits frozen, eyes wide and still. He's like 13. And me, I thank the doctors. I tell them we appreciate their courage in telling us that we're grateful for their effort. I'm the strong one again. They wheel him out from the blinding OR lights into a small, dim room tucked away like an afterthought. He's covered with a blanket for our goodbyes. That sight burns into me. The man who once told me, "Move the boulder, Peanut," now still, silent, gone. And I don't care, how serious the surgery is or how critical. You can't prepare yourself for that. So the strong one, the one that I felt like I could finally lean on, the one that I could depend on to actually help me do what I knew needed to be done, now he's gone too. Now all the strong men in my life are gone. And where am I? Back to that very first 8-year-old little girl, left again, now left again, just broken all over again. So that's where I say losing 2 dads in 2 years was too much. But needless to say, I didn't leave. Instead, preparing for his funeral and all of that sort of stuff, it all became a fight. Everything was an argument. Why? Because he wasn't getting the attention. Why? Because, oh my gosh, if my ex-husband showed up at the funeral, then, jealousy hits. I mean, it was nonstop. And I'm like, even now, even right now, when I'm grieving my dad, number 2, we're doing this. So when you're in that type of a situation, they don't care. They don't care what is going on in your life. They don't care how you are feeling. And somewhere, no matter how broken you are, you still find a way to try to make it better for them, because if not, it's like a double hell. It's like a double whammy. So needless to say, no. I didn't move the boulder. I didn't move the boulder, Peanut. It was too heavy for me. It was too much. I couldn't lift it alone. And my bonus dad was the only one that I felt was going to be there to help me lift it. And now he was dead. So it was horrible. All right, so let's listen to one more clip here.
Now I stumble forward with a heart full of scars, but his spirit still shines like the brightest of stars. In the whispers of wind and the soft rolling hills, his voice calls to me, guiding through the chills.
So yes, so in that part, it's like, yeah, so now I stumble forward just full of scars. It's almost like, God, just keep them coming, because I feel like I've been, cut from all around. I got scars in front, back, side. Like I'm just full of them. That's just how I felt at that point. I just wanted to say, fuck it, everything. I'm done. Like, just who cares? And that's not a that's not a good place to be, but that's where I was. And so when I say now I stumble forward with a heart full of scars, but his spirit still shines like the brightest of stars. I never let either of my dads go, or my grandma, or anybody. But one of the things that I can say is God's still there. And I know that he sees me suffocating under a weight I'm not meant to carry. And he sees me stuck and small. And I know that this is what my bonus dad saw and was still seeing, because I do believe they're here. I mean, he's still here. He's proud of me today. They're all proud of me today. But at the time, like, he was still there. But he wants me to reclaim the life waiting on the other side of that boulder. And I still know it. And I had to convince myself he was still going to be there to help me, even though I couldn't see him physically. And it takes years before I have the courage to actually say I'm going to do it. And the reason I say I'm going to do it is because I was there. It was done. And then God took him. So it's amazing at how certain things like that happen. Because maybe in my mind I was going to do it, but maybe God knew I really wasn't going to do it. But in order to do what God has me here to do, I couldn't be with him. So believe me, if God has a calling on your life, things will happen to make it happen. You just have to pay attention, and you have to be willing to do the work no matter how hard it is. Okay. But those words never leave. They become his final gift, clarity, strength, a truth I carry every day. Move the boulder, Peanut. And so when I say that, I carry that every single day for any situation, anything that looks overwhelming, anything that looks scary, anything that is confusing, anything that seems too big, just all of it. Every single day is met with decisions that need to be made that are scary. And so every day I'm saying, move the boulder, Peanut, move the boulder. And it's amazing at how quickly you can just plow through. So maybe you'll start saying that, move the boulder. Whatever that thing is that is blocking the blessing, whatever that thing is that is blocking the progress, the energy, the movement forward, the momentum, whatever it is, move the boulder. It can be a person, it can be a job, it can be put the donut down. You know, you want to lose weight, put the freaking donut down, just put it down, move the boulder, like whatever it is. If you need to save money, move the boulder, get rid of the Amazon account, like whatever you need to do, move the boulder that's blocking the goal on the other side that will serve you best. And I say this to myself every single day in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity, move the boulder, Peanut. And it's like, all right, let's go. And so maybe that will help you. Play the song and cheer along, anthem along. So, all right, we're going to get into one more clip, and then we go into the through the lens of God's love and our crown truth as we pray and take all of this out. And let's listen.
Here's to the lessons, both bitter and sweet. With each step I take, I feel my heart beat. A promise I carry from the man who believed in the strength of my spirit, the path I have weaved. Move the boulder, Peanut, forever I'll sing. As the shadows recede, I'll let my soul take wing.
Oh, that part picks me up. So I just love this. Every time I hear it, I hear him. Just move the boulder. And I want to just like cheers to a big anthem. I see it like in a bar, we're all clinking our beer glasses, maybe on St. Patty's Day or something. Who knows? But that's all I can say. If the message that is for you today is just move the freaking boulder, you know what it is. And that might be harsh, but you know what it is. You know what's blocking your progress. You know what decisions need made. You know what choices have to be made. You know, move the boulder. And if we can, do things like this, like I say, people like us do things like this. This is a community. My whole Crown by Faith collective community is a place that every week there is song, scripture, reflection, positivity, motivation, a place to pause, but it's in a steady rhythm that keeps you in alignment. Every Sunday, something new is released. Like, you don't have to go through this alone, but I've created a space that doesn't require action from you. You don't have to show up. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be on. You just receive and let it be steady. So if you are in a space where you feel like I don't have anyone that I can lean on, or I don't have anyone that I feel is there, this space is created for that. This quiet strength, okay, soft power. That's where I am in my life today. I have had to push through with the fierce forceness to just keep going. And now God has allowed me this soft power, this space of alignment that feels so much better, but it's taken a lot to be able to get here. And I know that. And that's why we have Crown by Faith, the whole collective. So let's talk about this through the lens of God's love. Okay. So what I like to do in every chapter, you get the story, you get the heartache, you get the painful experience, because pain has incredible power. Pain is a gift if you use it correctly. Pain can propel you further than you ever imagined if you learn how to use it properly. or it has the power to hold you back your whole life. It is that powerful. So in looking at those pain moments through the lens of God's love, that's where the transformation begins. That's where your life actually begins to change, because everything that you may have held that was working against you now works for you, and you understand why. And when you're able to do that, there's nothing that anyone can do that can stop you. Even the ones that try to inflict pain, even the ones that try to keep you down, you're able to recognize, I see what you're doing, but God is showing me through his lens of love what this is really doing for me. And that's transformational. All right. So through the lens of God's love, I see that grief isn't proof of weakness, it's proof of love. Loving two fathers losing two fathers in 2 years felt like more than my heart could carry. Yet God carried me when I couldn't carry myself. God doesn't expect you to handle it. When people say God will never give you more than you can handle, I don't believe that one bit, because God doesn't actually give every situation. Remember, the other side is out here as well. So not everything's coming from God. I believe you're going to always get more than you can handle, because you're meant to lean on him. You're not meant to carry it. So whenever they say God will never give you more than you can handle, I'm like, it's not up to God all the time. There's some other forces out there working on some evil shit. So just let God carry you through it all. All right. So I hear my bonus dad's words, move the boulder, Peanut, as more than advice. They were a gift, a seed planted in my soul that kept growing after he was gone. Love often leaves us with tools we'll need for battles we haven't met yet. Even in loss upon loss, I was never truly fatherless. Where earthly fathers leave by choice, by death, or by circumstances out of our control, our Heavenly Father remains. He never leaves, never abandons, never forgets. Maybe you know this ache too. Burying more than your fair share, saying goodbye before you were ready. Take heart. Love does not end at the grave. You carry the voices that spoke courage into you, and above all, you are held by a Father who will never let you go. So when I think of Move the Boulder, Peanut, and it's every day, my bonus dad is with me every day, but so is God. And so that's enough to carry you through whatever it is that you're going through, whether you can understand it or not. All right. A crowned truth. Again, this is another level, another layer. Grief doesn't move in a straight line. It comes in waves, sometimes gentle, sometimes crashing one after another. Yet even in the undertow of loss, God plants reminders of wisdom. Sometimes those reminders sound like the echo of a loved one's voice. Words we once took for granted that rise again when we need them most. My dad's voice still echoes in mine. Move the boulder, Peanut. Now I understand what he meant. His words weren't just encouragement. They were a call to faith, to keep pushing through what feels impossible, to clear the path for light to come through. Because even in compounded grief, God is faithful. He doesn't remove the ache, but he redeems it, turning memory into movement, loss into legacy, and pain into purpose. Our loved ones may be gone, but their wisdom keeps working in us, reminding us that the strength they saw in us was real all along. And that's what I hold on to. I know what my bonus dad saw in me. I know what he believed in me. And I know what he wanted for me. And even though it took several messy years and a lot of more pain and a lot of more emotional abuse and a lot of more fights and a lot of more forgiveness, even though it took many years, what he saw in me has come forward. And there's people that see that in you too. And unfortunately, there's no quick fix. There's no super secret. There's no pill to take. There's no shot to inject to flip it around for you just like that. You must go through it, because while you are going through it, that's the becoming of who God actually created you to be. All this other outside stuff we've done. People have done. Humans have done with their free will. We've caused the pain. We've caused the chaos. We've screwed up. We've done this. We've done that. And that's okay. But in order to get back to the core of who God created us to be, we sometimes have to walk through that fire. So all of it can just be burned off. And does that feel good? Absolutely not. But when you come out the other side, you are refined. You are pure. You are who you have always been all along. And when that person comes forward, watch out. Watch out. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap this up with our prayer as I send you off. That is also in every chapter, a unique prayer in every chapter. And then we fade out with the full song. So thank you for being here with me tonight. And here we go. Dear God, thank you for walking with us when life feels unbearable. For the reader carrying layered loss, remind them no boulder is too heavy for you to move. Give them peace to trust your timing and strength to rise up. Thank you for love, even when it comes wrapped in the ache of goodbye. And for the people who spoke truth and hope into us. Teach us to move the boulders that block our light. Give us courage to release what no longer belongs and to hold tight to you, our constant Father. May we honor those we've lost by living with strength, joy, and faith. We are never alone. You are always with us. In Jesus' name, amen. So thank you guys for being with me tonight. And as we close out, you can hear the whole song that was actually written for my bonus dad, as his message of Move the Boulder Peanut has forever transformed my life. And it will every single day that I have breath in these lungs. Here you go.
In a little town where the shadows grow long, I learned of love mingled with one last song. Two fathers lost in the blink of an eye. One carried my heart, the other waved goodbye. My blood ran deep from the man who was first, but the chaos he left my soul feeling cursed. Then came my bonus dad with wisdom to share. He held me close in his steady care. Move the boulder, Peanut, he would say. Let the weight of your past just drift away. You're stronger than the pain that cuts through the night. Lift your head up high, you'll find your light. The memories haunt like a fade
promise lingers beneath the pale moon. Through the storms he would guide me, a lighthouse aglow. When thunder would rumble, he'd help me to grow.
I traded my fears for a place in his heart. Yet life had its plans, tearing us apart. In the silence that lingered after his last breath, I felt a hollow space echo in death. Move the boulder, Peanut, he would say. Let the weight of your past just drift away. You're stronger than the pain that cuts through the night. Lift your head up high, you'll find your light. The wheels were turning that fateful day. He went in for surgery, the fear ran deep and gray. A heart so full, yet the fates conspired to take him from me as the brave souls retired. And as the doctor whispered in tones so low, I felt like a shipwrecked with no place to go. In the years that followed, I carried his words through the valleys of sorrow, alongside the birds. Each tear that I shed, a testament to grace, the love he bestowed eternally in place. Now I stumble forward with a heart full of scars, but his spirit still shines like the brightest of stars. In the whispers of wind and the soft rolling hills, his voice calls to me, guiding through the chills. Move the boulder, Peanut, he would say. Let the weight of your past just drift away. You're stronger than the pain that cuts through the night. Lift your head up high, you'll find your light. So here's to the lessons, both bitter and sweet. With each step I take, I feel my heart beat. A promise I carry from the man who believed in the strength of my spirit, the path I have weaved. Move the boulder, Peanut, forever I'll sing. As the shadows recede, I'll let my soul take wing.